talk about progressive book burning. So this is a story you mentioned in the last segment just a little bit. I wanted to go deep into it because I think it's funny. So book burning on Ontario Francophone schools as gesture of reconciliation denounced. Yeah, I can't see why. Can't see why book burning wouldn't be popular. So let's go to the story itself. More than 4,700 books were removed from the library shelves at 30 schools, and they have since been destroyed or are in the process of being recycled.
Very progressive.
Yeah, progressive book burning is when you turn it into.
There were lots of progressive book burnings in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Very left wing book burning.
You know, the country that actually burned the most books wasn't even Nazi Germany; it was Soviet Union.
Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. Actually,
there was actually a really messed up incident when they annexed. I think it was it's either Latvia or Lithuania. I think it's Lithuania. There is a list of burned books that the Soviets have, and some of the books on that list, they only exist on that list now. They're all gone. No one has any idea what was written in them. Yeah, the authors are all dead and all the rest of it.
Well, it must have been counter-revolutionary propaganda, comrade.
Yeah, so Canada's having a spot of this. A book burning held at an Ontario Francophone school board as an act of reconciliation with Indigenous people has received sharp condemnation from Canadian political leaders and the board itself now that it says that it regrets the symbolic gesture.
I kind of feel that I doubt the Indigenous people, to reconcile with us, you've got to burn some books.
To be honest, it's like that meme. You know, there's these guys who have got a microphone and there's another guy who's got a thing in his ear. They're like, yeah, now do this. And then he does it and they all start laughing. Yeah. I imagine that with this. Yeah, now burn all the Asterix and Obelix books. They did it. So the flame... Sorry. The flame purification ceremony, first reported by Radio Canada, was held in 2019 by the... what do you say that?
Conseil Scolaire Catholique Providence.
The Council of Catholic Scholars in Providence, okay, which oversees elementary and secondary schools in southwestern Ontario. Some 30 books, the national broadcaster reported, were burned for educational purposes.
I love that turn of phrase.
For educational purposes.
Imagine burning a book for literally saying educational purposes.
And the ashes were used as fertilizer to plant a tree. Quote from the people who did this: "We bury the ashes of racism, discrimination, and stereotypes in the hope that we will grow up in an inclusive country where we can all live in prosperity and security," says a video prepared for the students during the book burning.
That's amazing. That's genuinely amazing.
So cultist as well.
It's such an obvious cult. But I love that burning books for education. And then, literally this sort of dedication to the gods.
It's like abortion to save humanity or something.
Yeah.
So the project, entitled Give Back to the Earth, was intended to, quote, make a gesture of openness and reconciliation by replacing books in our libraries that have outdated content. How can a book have outdated content?
No, that's totally possible. Any map from 100 years ago is outdated content, so boof, there goes that.
But that's still not outdated because it's dated
Charles Darwin. Oh, sorry.
Something that is created is dated for the time it is created.
Of course it is.
So it physically can't even be outdated in that sense.
No.
Because it's like, no, it was made for the 1500s when we thought the world looked like this.
But the information's wrong, so it needs to be burned, Callum. It's the philosophy of Ingsoc.
Yep. Outdated content. And carried negative stereotypes about First Nations or Inuit people.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what this is about. It is about offending the Indians. The school's library, she said, is constantly updated. And the library...
You're burning a lot of books, you're going to have to, aren't you?
Every year. God, the budget must be immense. And the library books on shelves have, quote, positive and inclusive messages about diverse communities within our schools. Positive messages.
Mad.
So there's not a single book in that library that says that the Indians ever did anything wrong. Ever.
And not just that, if it's just positive messages, you can never have a book that includes it. I mean, they couldn't have Lord of the Flies.
No.
Right?
Mein Kampf, that's got to go.
Well, obviously that. But I wouldn't expect an Ontario library to have Mein Kampf.
No, but I mean, you can't do any
Classics.
reading of anything evil ever. So everything to do with the Nazis has to go. Everything to do with the Soviets has to go.
Everything to do with war or, human suffering or anything like that.
I can see they have to burn so many books. Yeah, so, quote, "We regret that we did not intervene to assure a more appropriate plan for the commemorative ceremony, and that it was offensive to some members of the community." This is their apology for burning books.
It was we want to burn the books, but we burned the books wrong, and that offended some people. How we were burning the books was the problem.
I love it. No, but the wording there is like, "We're sorry it caused offense." You know, that kind of apology.
Yeah.
We don't really apologize for burning the books.
No.
God, no.
We should have just burned them in the correct way.
Yeah. They continue, "We sincerely regret the negative impact of this initiative intended as a gesture of conciliation." they said. Asked about the book burning, Liberal leader Justin Trudeau said it's not up to non-Indigenous people to tell Indigenous people how they should feel or act. Right.
Right. That's right. I'm for book burnings. I'm a liberal.
Yeah. Anyway, so to tell Indigenous people how they should feel or act to advance reconciliation. So if the Indigenous, were happy with the book burning, then you should do it because liberalism. Liberal leader.
Mad. Absolutely mad.
What the hell happened to that party in Canada? At least the one here had the good courtesy to die.
I like the way he says that. On a
Labour
personal
Party.
level, I would never agree to the burning of books. Well, on a personal level, you're also a politician. In fact, you're actually the Prime Minister of Canada.
But also, dum-dum, if you held that personally, why shouldn't that be the policy?
Exactly.
If it's good for you, why not good for society?
Is it not morally just to say we shouldn't burn books?
Like, either he's saying that I'm morally wrong, or I know what's morally right, but I'm not going to do it.
Good point. Yeah. If anything, he seems to be saying, well, look, I don't think that, but my morals are wrong. Their morals are correct because they're burning the books and they're the Indigenous people.
I'm an evil person who doesn't believe in burning books.
This is literally multiculturalism.
I love how it's just double thing as well. How can you agree that you're the good person for not burning the books? I wouldn't do it, and he knows that's the right thing to do. But at the same time, on a national scale, he's not going to say anything.
I'm just saying they're acting just like the Nazis, but I mean, on a personal level, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, on a personal level, I wouldn't be a Nazi, but I can't condemn what the Nazis did because it's their culture, isn't it? You know, like they're indigenous to Germany, aren't they?
I'm a liberal.
Exactly, I'm a liberal. Yeah.
So asked about the report. Canadian leader Erin O'Toole said, reconciliation is important for all Canadians, and we have a system that does not discriminate.
Okay, but it does burn books.
Later, O'Toole tweeted, a Conservative government will be committed to reconciliation, but the road to reconciliation does not involve tearing down Canada. I strongly condemn the burning of books.
But they've been burning down Catholic churches as well, don't they?
It's so... I think, again, I don't know, but that stinks to me of the British Conservative Party, where it's like, again, he's not gone on the attack there at all.
No.
He's not like, no, yeah, these people are evil and everyone involved should face some comeuppance or something, or it should be held to account, or blah, 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 blah.
Burning books, burning synagogues, burning churches, burning books. I mean, I'm just saying there are a lot of parallels that are coming across here.
He also gave exactly the same answer as Trudeau, which is, I don't involve book burning. Well, I strongly condemn book burning.
But if they want a book burn...
But again, he didn't really condemn the book burners. He just said that his plan for reconciliation doesn't involve tearing Canada down. Kind of sad. Anyway, so if we go to the next one, what are the books? Because this is the interesting thing. So this article was in foreign, so I translated it, but it wasn't actually important. What's interesting is looking at the images of what they consider to be so offensive, outdated.
Asterix and Obelisk.
Yeah. So
Obelix.
the first one here, the image, if we can get it up, the full image. So it's I think he's Obelix, right? Yeah. Obelix with some Indian.
Ah, yes, because that makes the Indians look so unappealing.
This is very offensive. How dare you make us look good?
Yeah. Stupid, sexy Indian.
Obelix, is
big
clearly
fat
the one
idiot,
that looks amazing, and the Indian girl here looks horrible.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If we go to the next one as well, there's more images in here just for the various books.
Scroll
you can
down.
scroll. The next one is Tim Tim, I believe. So it's
There's burying the books.
I
Oh
know,
my God.
that's him burying the ashes.
Okay,
there.
yeah. Okay, keep going.
So there's
Let's see how offensive Tintin was.
what did Tim Tim do? So after Trudeau,
after
hang
Trudeau.
out with weebs. There's Tim Tim speaking
Right.
French
Okay, yeah.
to some Indian who's in a blanket, and he's like, "I want to take a picture or something."
Yeah, I'm sure that never happened.
Yeah. I don't get what the offense is like. Is it because the Indian has a feather in his head?
Has he got a grumpy expression on his face?
It's like, name the thing that is not accurate.
Was it because the Indian woman was sexy? I mean, what was the problem? Like,
Wouldn't believe anything. Yeah. The offense here being that Indians exist.
but kids' comic books. You're taking offense to this and you're going to burn them. Really? That's pathetic.
This is all it takes to bring down progressivism. Draw a cartoon.
Yeah, this is all it takes to destroy native cultures is the existence of comic books.
But I love it as well. You saw, I think Trudeau did actually come down with Obama after Charlie Hebdo to stand with the French president and walk along the line of all world leaders being like, yes, censorship bad. And then none of them do it at home.
He's probably taken that back by now, though.
Charlie Hebdo, they couldn't. Like, you had to get them all forced to be like, yeah, we don't murder people for cartoons. But they will burn them. And they'll be like, yeah, go for it. I personally wouldn't do it, but if you want to, go on, comrade. Just like Justin Trudeau did.
It's mad, isn't it?
They went through with this, and that's a real thing that happened in Canada. God, I'd hate to live there. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to prelotuseaters.com and get access to all our premium content.
Things like our book club, where we examine classics like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and examine the themes that underpin it, and how we're getting worryingly close to that, or modern books like Mark Sidwell's The Long March, which is how exactly we ended up in the current cultural situation we're in and what conservatives can do about it. Or you can check out the other series we have, such as our Contemplation series, where Hugo and Josh decided to, in the latest one, have a look at an examination on the ways that other elections have been rigged for no reason at all. Or you can check out our Epoch series, which is one of my personal favorites, because this is where I get to talk about history. And I love talking about just random things from history. And one of the great things we can do with this series is talk about those things that aren't so often discussed. So, I mean, you can talk about Xerxes' army, the vast army that invaded Greece during the Greco-Persian Wars. Or we can go through things like Herodotus' view on the Scythians. Who are they? You probably don't know, but they used to be quite an important people a long time ago, and they're very, very interesting. We've got some really good reports about them. Or we've got premium podcasts, which is things we generally don't want to put outside of the paywall because we might get in trouble for them, such as the list of things that Alex Jones was right about. Or we do just very interesting discussions because there are things that we do lots of work on. Another one is that I'm particularly proud of is where Christopher Hitchens, the famous new atheist, would have fallen during the modern culture wars, because he probably wouldn't have been very woke. But we also have lots of interviews and articles and other things on the website that you can sign up to enjoy, and we're really proud of them.
So if any of that sounds good to you, go over to lotuseaters.com and sign up for as little as £5 a month to support us, keep the show going, and also to get access to all the content. Thank you and goodbye.